going to take this off, Caitlin.
Her sweater.
Your sweater. You're not wearing a sweater.
It's not sweater weather. No, actually, okay. It's been a long time since you've seen this Jurassic Park tank that I used to wear literally every day. I thought I lost it.
Oh.
And I actually, I couldn't find it for literally like 8 months. I texted my sister and mom and bothered them. And I was like, it's at your house. I had to have left it over there, like something. And they were like, we looked, it's not here. And I was like, nah, I bet it's in Madeline's disgusting room. Like my sister, like tell her to clean her room and find it. When I went back to my old place the other day to grab stuff, it was behind the couch. After Evan moved it. So I must have set it on the back of the couch because it was under there with like 2 tank tops and laundry and it fell. So it's been behind my couch for like 8 months.
I know. I had actually thought about it. I'm like, she doesn't really wear that shirt anymore. Wonder why.
Because it was lost and now it's found.
It's wonderful.
It has holes in it and a raptor and it says clever girl. But the holes look like a raptor tore it up.
And that's how you know it's good too. Like if something has holes, that has been loved.
Yeah, it's clever.
Yeah.
It's a clever girl shirt.
Yeah. What are your guys' clever girl shirts? So everybody, this episode, well, first of all, I'm Sarah.
I'm Caitlin.
And this is a true crime, conspiracy theories, things, aliens podcast.
We have a new patron.
Oh my gosh. We do have one of those.
D,
welcome.
Sweet D.
We're so glad to have you.
Did you get it? It's like sweet tea, but it's sweet D.
It's the D.
I stole that from It's Always Sunny.
Oh. This episode is going to be
heavy.
Yep, there's no other way to say it except for the other ways Caitlin just thought of.
Sad.
Hard to get through.
Mine has a happy ending though, so I'm going to go second.
Mine, well, you'll get to decide, I guess, if it does or not.
What's our theme?
Our theme was kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
And my case is kidnapping, I think, but some people might disagree about that. It might be more hostage-y.
Oh, mine is too.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
But wait, we take it back. Our theme is hostage.
Yeah, we changed it right now, and that's what it is. I don't know. Do we have anything exciting to share? Oh, we do. I thought of something right as I was saying that.
Oh.
We are doing something really fun for new patrons.
Yes. What is it?
Yeah, so we are giving Spooky October... Not those, but mini care packages to all new patrons that joined during the month of August and September. We did this last spring, and it was really successful. Everyone loved their little care packages.
D, you chose a good time to join.
Yes. So it's going to be retroactive. So anyone from the beginning of August until end of September will get one of these Spooky October packages. And we're going to send them out in Spooky October, which is like a thing for our podcast. If you want to see what that's about, you can scroll all the way down to 2019.
The last Spooky October.
Spooky October. And current patrons, if they're like, no, I want to get a Spooky October thing, what you have to do is, it's a little different last time. Last time it was if you upped your pledge. This time, because I don't want to make you guys keep upping your pledges just to get a Spooky October package. So you must leave a review on Apple, a review on Stitcher, and a review on Facebook. You must do those 3 things and then send us a DM that are like, hey, I did that. And then we will send that to you too. Now that's if you're already a patron. If you're not already a patron, you can't just do those things and get a Spooky October package. You'd have to join and become a patron, and then you would just get one. But you could still leave reviews everywhere if you wanted. So if you've already left a review on Apple and you're a patron, just leave one on Stitcher and Facebook, and then you'll get a Spooky October package. The end.
The end.
Do you have anything for us, Caitlin?
No, it's nice being your neighbor.
It's nice being in the neighborhood with you, Caitlin.
That is all.
Yeah, we're neighbors, and Caitlin got me a cactus gift. She said, I like pricks or something, and gave it to me. I don't remember when.
You and Evan are my favorite pricks.
Oh.
It was a play on words because I got you a cactus.
And so we named it Rick.
Rick the Prick.
Yeah, Professor Rick is what I'm calling him.
Do you name all your plants?
I mean, I intend to, and I don't always. Like my big cactus is named Pisco. Pisco is a type of Peruvian liqueur made from grape. And he's a Peruvian apple cactus.
Oh.
Yeah, I try to make him clever. So now we have Professor Rick, who's my most prickly of cactuses.
Yeah, he's very prickly.
I'm afraid of him. Yeah, don't touch cactuses. That is the rule. I think I got cactus in my finger this week, and I still have a bump there. It's painful.
Would you like to open our beer?
Yes, I would. And we're doing something really cool. And you can become a beer sponsor now for Luminol.
Yes.
And we have a couple sponsors lined up. So this episode, if you did already send us to be a beer sponsor. Like, you're coming. You're just on the list, which is awesome. Our first beer sponsor is our friend Molly, and we're so excited. She is just the best.
Yes. Thank you, Molly, for the beers.
Yes. So you made this dream happen of today's beers.
We love you, Molly.
Yes, we love you very much. And we've been reading your blog, and
Yes.
it is so insightful. The blog is called Molly Has Cancer, and I'm going to drop a link to that blog in the show notes. You can just check it out. Okay, so we are having the 1554 from New Belgium.
That was a good year.
Really, what happened? It's
You know, that thing happened, and then then there was that other thing.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read the history book yet.
If you haven't been to 1554, like,
you haven't seen the movie, I'm
if
not
you
going
weren't
to ruin
there,
the ending.
We can't help that you weren't there.
I mean, the ending is today.
So it wasn't a happily ever after.
1554 is so over.
This is from the Belgian collection, which makes me feel like it's their fancy collection. Can't verify that. It's 6% alcohol by volume and is a surprisingly bright taste. Oh, it has one. And a dry chocolatey finish. One evocative of dark brews enjoyed in Belgian taverns 500 years ago.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, you weren't there either, New Belgium. And it's from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Thank you, Colorado. It's almost stout colored.
Yeah.
It looks like a Coca-Cola. Like, that's how dark it is.
And it looks like a root beer float without the ice cream, right?
It does look like root beer. It does look like more, so a dark soda. Grazie.
Sante.
No, the correct answer was Prego.
Prego. It smells really, really sweet.
It is a little sweet for me, but I dig it. It does kind of taste like root beer.
Yeah, it has that syrupy taste, right? It's very syrupy.
I don't hate it, but I wouldn't want a full one.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a good winter beer. It's not great for a hot Arizona day, but it is very Christmassy because it is chocolatey.
It is. Oh, it'd be a great Christmas morning beer.
It's a great.
Listen, Judy.
It's a great before church beer. You guys drink church beers?
No, it's a Christmas morning beer.
Well, for those who go to church on Christmas morning.
Oh,
come on.
Drink the beer after, you hooligans.
I like it.
Or before, I'm not judging.
If you like sweet drinks, you would love this. If you like stouts, you'd like it. Scotch ales, you'd like it. It tastes like a dessert beer, but it's not marketed or advertised as a dessert beer.
If you like Christmas morning, you'll like. If you like the taste of Christmas, you'll like it. It tastes like eating a Christmas ornament.
If you like drinking before church, you'll love it. All right, Fort Collins. That'll be...
Church has nothing to do with Christmas.
That'll be church has everything to do with Christmas. The reason for the
Stop
season.
Putting church in my Christmas.
Heathen for the heathen.
Just delete all of that.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any...
Yes.
Any notes or red flags or things?
Trigger warnings?
Yes, those.
Oh, Caitlin.
What color flag would a trigger warning be?
It's on fire in this one. So my trigger warnings are extreme child abuse, suicide, mention of suicide, domestic violence, sexual abuse. This case, I am not going to put lightly. It is one of the worst cases I've ever come across. So keep that in mind. It is against a child, and it is very disturbing. This is not an episode for all listeners. The listener discretion is super advised for this one. I won't go into a ton of detail, but there are some things like if you guys listen to the episode on Junko Furuta, I believe her name is, and the Japanese gal who in Japan who was kidnapped and held hostage. It reminds me in some ways of that, but it's completely different.
I would say if you didn't watch or couldn't watch the Gabriel Fernandez trial, and I don't know about her case, but you're reminding me of that. Like if you didn't, or if that was something you couldn't watch, I would maybe skip over her case.
Yes, I 100% agree. I'm telling you the story of Genie Wiley, the feral child.
Okay.
My sources are Business Insider, an article by Rory Carroll for The Guardian, an article by Dr. Barrett Brogard for Psychology Today, an article by Andrew Milne for All That's Interesting, and then Wikipedia, and then also georgetown.edu, because we'll talk about it, but this case actually became like a psychological study kind of.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So
I've never heard of this.
I had not either, which
I'm not sure I'm ready, so I'm just going to dip out and let you tell this.
Yes. No, there might be times where we need a break. We'll see. Okay. So Genie is actually a pseudonym. We don't know her actual name. She was named Genie by her researchers.
Okay.
So Genie was the last of 4 children born to extremely troubled parents. And I'm going to give a little background on the parents. So her dad, Clark Wiley, grew up in the Pacific Northwest in a series of orphanages. His mom ran a brothel and was rarely home, and his dad died suddenly after being hit by lightning, apparently. I would like to give everyone the reminder that just because someone reports on something doesn't make it true. So I had no way of verifying that. I could not find an obituary or anything because I don't know his dad's name. But anyways, that is what I saw. Her mom, Jeannie's mom, Irene Oglesby, was surviving the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma. And when she was really young, she suffered a severe head injury by accident. I couldn't figure out what it was. But anyways, that gave her degenerative vision loss in mostly one of her eyes. But the older she got, the more she was losing her vision, which becomes important later. So the two met in California, Jeannie's parents, where they got married and they settled down in Arcadia, California. To outsiders, the two were super happy, but behind closed doors was very different. He would not let her leave the house, Clark. And I'm talking about Clark and Irene right now, the parents.
Okay. Before they had kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wouldn't let her leave the house at all. He also began abusing her, beating her a little, quote unquote, at first, I read, but with increased frequency and increased violence. So the worse the beatings got, the worse her eyesight also got because she was already nearly blind, and he would hit her in the head and her vision would deteriorate faster. So he did not want children at all. But after 5 years of their marriage, she became pregnant. He beat her throughout the entire pregnancy and allegedly even tried to strangle her to death during the pregnancy.
Jesus.
But she still gave birth to their first child, a surprisingly healthy girl. So this wasn't Genie. The baby, as babies do, cried sometimes. So he put the baby, in the garage when she was 8 weeks old, so he wouldn't have to hear her crying. And then the baby got pneumonia and died when she was 10 weeks old.
Jesus.
We don't know the name of this baby. A year later, they had a boy who died at 2 days old.
Wait, so he didn't go to jail?
No, she died of pneumonia, so it was fine.
Fuck that.
No, I know. And the wife is still being beaten at this point, and she's like mostly blind. Really, things aren't being set up well at all. So they had another boy who died at 2 days old, but this boy actually did have a severe health issue that was diagnosed at birth, and it was like a fatal genetic disorder. So now maybe he could have lived. Like, we don't know because it is suspicious because the first baby died.
Yeah.
But with the genetic
fatal
disorder,
genetic disorder, his dad beating his mom.
that is a fatal disorder.
Fucking fuck.
It's terrible. So
yeah.
3 years later, they had another boy named John who had the same genetic disease, which is called Rh incompatibility, which I couldn't find much about, but it involves like a lot of like blood transfusions and stuff.
Oh, wow.
John also had this as their previous son had, but he was otherwise healthy, so he lived. So they have this boy named John. 5 years later, in 1957, they had their final child, who we call Genie. And Genie is spelled like, I'm a genie in a bottle, like not like Gean. So Genie was...
You mean not like J-E?
Oh, yeah. Not like Guinea gabies. Didn't you know about those? So Genie was small when she was born. She was pretty underweight at birth. And she was also showing signs of this genetic disorder. She had a blood transfusion as a newborn, apparently, as like a precautionary thing. I wasn't sure. She also had a congenital hip dislocation where her hip like constantly dislocated. And that required medical treatment. And so this delayed her mobility. So she began walking extremely late, and she had like a cadence or like gait to her walk that was not typical for someone with like standard healthy hips. Mm-hmm. So she kind of walked strangely, quote unquote, etc. So according to researchers later, her father had decided when she was born that she was mentally retarded. And I use those words because that's the words in all of the medical cases.
That's what he said, yeah.
And he said she was mentally retarded.
We're not going to sugarcoat what this piece of shit said.
No, we're not here to make him sound better.
Yeah.
So it gets to the abuse right away when she's a baby. Like, he was never kind to Genie. He commanded his 5-year-old son, John, who he also did abuse. Like, I don't want it to make it look like he didn't abuse John either. But he told John, who was 5, and his wife not to talk to Genie, not to look at Genie, not to pay any attention to Genie, and to pretend like Genie didn't exist at all times. Now,
what is this, the fucked up version of Matilda?
Oh, yeah. Seriously, this is like the hyper version of Matilda. So when Genie was nearly a year old, she had become quite thin and was being malnourished.